back, subscribers, and hello YouTube viewers. On this occasion we're off to Carisbrook. So Carisbrook is a town in the Shire of Central Goldfields and Mount Alexander Shire, Victoria, Australia. Located on the Pyrenees Highway, it's 7 kilometres or 4.3 miles east of the regional and local government centre of Maryborough. Carisbrook is closely linked with Maryborough historically, socially and economically. Now, as mentioned, Carisbrook is situated on the Pyrenees Highway between Maryborough and Castlemaine with coach bus services to both of these towns. Now, reputedly, Carisbrook's name came from Carisbrook, named after Caroline Bucknall, the daughter of E.G. Bucknall, an early local pastoralist. However, before the town was surveyed in 1851, there was a police camp and lockup named Camp Carisbrook, implying that the name could have had another origin. There were pre-existing Carisbrooks in New Zealand and on the Isle of Wight. Carisbrook was towards the edge of the Maryborough Goldfields, but a good water supply underpinned its prosperity. Local landowners Joyce and Simpson opened a flour mill in 1856. The first store opened in 1853, and an Anglican church and school began in 1855. There were bakeries, brewery, 4 hotels, brickyards and several stores when Carisbrook was proclaimed a borough on the 7th of August 1857. In addition to these amenities, the Bailliers Victorian Gazetteer recorded a Mechanics Institute, an Agricultural Society, a cricket club and a racecourse in 1865. Catholic, Methodist and Presbyterian churches followed in a few years, and a railway station was opened when the line was constructed in 1874. Carisbrook did compete with Maryborough for a few years for district leadership, but Maryborough's centrality in the goldfields gave it prosperity that was unavailable to predominantly agricultural Carisbrook. Now, I do make a few errors with the Walkaround, and once again, bear with me. All the credits and links to the photos as well as the voiceover information that I just provided will be in the description below. So please enjoy the video. Okay, so we have arrived in Carisbrook. It is an early Saturday morning. It is quite cold, but it's not windy, so it should be good for the drone. And the first port of call will be the railway station. It is abandoned. The tracks are still going to the platform, but whenever it crosses over a road, it doesn't continue through. So this is definitely an abandoned railway station. There's a lot to see here. I'll get in a few churches, hopefully. Hopefully I'll get the pub in as well. But this railway station is of interest, so I'll spin the camera around and let's have a look and see what we see. So that's the railway line coming through, and as you can see, well, probably not in the distance there where the road goes over it and the tracks go under the road. And once again, you can probably see it better here, just to highlight that it is abandoned. And then you have this spectacular railway station and some railway sheds. And you can see where the platforms all were. I'd say here on the right side is the for freight. And that would be some sort of freight sort of shed on the right there, and the actual station there on the left. Once again, I want to make it quite clear, I'm no expert on anything to do with railways. I'm even a very poor commuter on the railways and trains, so
just bear in mind, this is just my personal opinion, what I see. I could be totally wrong, and if I am, by all means jump in the comments and just correct whatever needs correcting. So I'm assuming where the arches are were once where the old steam locomotives would go through to get serviced, maybe, I'm not sure. Is it also where the carriages would go in to be loaded up with whatever goods? But then I'm assuming that's what this platform is for. I like how the tree's growing right next to the railway tracks. And a little bit further up, you can probably see. So there's the station. Not sure what that shed's used for. Bathrooms maybe, I don't know. I'm sure they're pretty common with every rural railway station that they have a building next door. Whether or not they are the toilets, so to speak, or is it something to do, I was going to say, with maybe coal or something. I don't see a water tower at all, so that might have already been demolished. But we'll keep looking around and let's see what we see. So here we are at the platform of the railway station. It's all boarded up, which is good. There's really no graffiti, no real vandalism at all. This is a bit of a sleepy hollow of a town, which is great. Definitely a farming town. A lot of tractors about, a lot of open land. Just give you another look at that building on this side. Is that for grain storage? I really can't tell you at all. But it's a pretty little station, this one, definitely. It's got the fireplace, or the chimney, on the top. And just behind the railway station is the bowling club. There's a football oval. You can probably see in the middle of your screen there is a church. So I guess at one stage the railway station was the hub of the town. Just coming around the what I would assume is the front of the station where you'd enter into, and then you have the platform. So even the entrance is quite nice. Got a little veranda, keep you out of the weather. You would have probably come through here back in the day. It's all boarded up now. But it's structurally really sound. I'm looking at all the brickwork. I'm at the foundations. They all look good. It's just a pity something like this can't be used for something that the community can take advantage of. It's all boarded up. It's in really good nick, to be fair. Now I'm just on the mound next to the railway station that I assumed is maybe back in the day where water would be pumped into the old steam or coal-driven trains or locomotives, because there is a water connection here. And isn't it it's just a pleasant view. It's like a little picture postcard of an abandoned railway station. I will get the drone up from here just to get a better view of this immediate area. But it really does look quite pleasant from this angle. Definitely a farming town. I'm not sure if there was ever any gold here, but I can imagine maybe there was. I think this whole region people were prospecting for gold, whether or not there was a lot to be had, or it was just somewhere where people prospected and had their fingers crossed. Okay, just coming down the mound without tumbling down. So now we're right next to the sheds. And I'm just going to assume this is where freight was brought from the farms and to the railway to be delivered into Melbourne or wherever people needed those goods. And this is also quite structurally sound. Not sure if it can be used by the community, and I'm guessing right here is where like a crane was once in place on this concrete round slab. I'm not 100% sure, but that's my guess. I think that's where the crane was, or maybe, I don't think where the water would have been for the old steam engines, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's structurally quite sound. You can see someone's repointed it where it's collapsed just above the large door. So they are trying to preserve it, which is just great. So here's the bridge overpass for the railway for back in the day over the creek. And as you can see, that leads right onto the railway station. I'm more inclined to think this is still able to take any sort of load. This is structurally sound, and the concrete pillars and the steel trusses, it's just, whenever it was built to last. Interesting how you can actually walk across the creek, or if it's a river, I'm not sure. I guess maybe some of the earlier maps would indicate the name of this creek. Now I'm just talking aloud, I'm just wondering, would this make a really great rail trail for this train line? So I'm not sure where the line actually comes and goes from, but I'm assuming this would probably take you towards Dalesford, I'm guessing. And what a trip this would be. It's just terrific. Definitely abandoned, but it's still functioning, as in it wouldn't take much at all to bring this back into some sort of opportunity for the town. But it is what it is. It's good that it's been not cared for, but it hasn't been neglected in a way where things got destroyed. They've basically just let it go, restored whatever they can with the shed on the right and with the train station, and let the next generation ponder what they can probably do with this. So here we have the Carisbrook log jail, built in 1852. I don't think anyone's going to get out of that. I think that's more structurally sound than some steel jails I've seen. Wow. So this was the local lockup. Look, it's really well presented. Whoever's looking after it's doing a great job. It looks like stables that you put cattle in, but I guess this is what they did. I do like the doors to the cells. There's some general information about the lockup, which is just great. Gives you a bit of history. There are some maps. I think we found some of these maps. I think I found that one at the State Library of Victoria that would have popped up earlier. But there's a lot to read. Very good. So we will put our name down as a visitor, just to acknowledge that people are coming to have a bit of a look. So we've left our name, and yeah, it's a great place. I would say there wouldn't be too many log prisons still on display in some of these towns. I think most of them are probably bricks and mortar. And there is a nice little carriage from back in the day next to it as well. Okay, we'll go on to the next little touristy spot. Now there are quite a number of old bluestone buildings. Most of them, well not most of them, this one in particular is, it's got quite clear keep out signs, visible from nearly any direction, and I think that's got a lot to do with the fact that the roof has collapsed. And it's a safety issue, as well as you've got to respect those that put the signs up to say, please don't enter private property. Now I've come across this one, which is the Freemasons of Victoria building, or so it's labelled, with a big sign. We'll have a bit of a look at this. It's also the Masonic Centre. So this is quite the building. Let's have a closer look. Okay, so I'm at the Masonic Centre, or the Freemasons Lodge, and this used to be a courthouse built in 1858, which sort of makes sense since the that log jail is just across the road. Quite the building. It's been repointed. There's some windows that have been filled in with the bluestone. I'm not sure why, but there must be a reason for it. If you are a member of the Freemasons, they meet here on the first Monday of every month. Doesn't really give you a time, but it is the first Monday, that's for sure. Now I can tell you we're sort of not the highest point of the town, but in this immediate area I can see quite a number of churches, and like most towns, and if there's multiple religions, they all jockey for the best spot at the top of every hill, which is quite odd, but they're very consistent. I think it's got something to do with God watching over everyone, regardless of faith, that the churches are at the top looking down, keeping an eye on everyone. So this is the entry to the Carisbrook Recreation Complex. I'm assuming they must have a football team, a cricket team, netball team, maybe even a tennis club for sure. And just way in the distance, you can see where the railway station used to be when it was functioning. So very much close to the hub of the city. And then we're going to come up to the church here, and it is St. Francis, and it's built in 1864. It is a private residence, and boy does it look good. Very envious of whoever owns that. That's a beauty. Now a lot of people find it maybe a bit weird to convert a church and live in it, either have it as an Airbnb, a bread and breakfast, or their own premises to live in. I have no problems with that, because it's also the celebration of weddings and christenings and all the good stuff as well, not just the funerals. So yes, it is St. Francis, and 1864 when it was built. Very good. So here we are at the Presbyterian Church, or the Scots Church, and once again there's three churches here. There's one modern one, that one just there. The one we've just been to in the background, sort of in the middle of your screen, you can sort of just see the bell tower, and then you've got this one, and I'm assuming this must be the highest point, or near the highest point of the town, because all the churches are right next to each other, and I'm assuming maybe next door is once the school for back in the day. Not 100% sure, but hey, once again, I'm just talking aloud. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. By all means, jump in the comments and correct anything that I've said that's not quite 100%. There is a plaque here. So the Scots Presbyterian Church was built in 1870. Wow, fair enough. And the first Presbyterian church service was held in 1863. So it does appear that's during the gold rush period. And every town basically had at least 2 or 3 churches. There was really no church that had exclusive rights to any particular town. That one in the distance there, that's a lot more modern. It has all the indication that it might have been a church, but it's all been rendered, unless that's a building that's associated with one of these other churches. You can see where the round bit is. You can actually see someone's bed there. So it could be an Airbnb that one can rent if you're coming into the area. So once again, this church, bricks and mortar, very sound construction. There's no real issues with it. A couple of small cracks, but nothing to write home about and complain. You've got wheelchair access for that building. You've got unisex toilets here. Not a bad little church. It really is. Once again, I'm not sure people are aware of this. If you're touring the countryside and you need to go, make your way to a church, because 9 times out of 10 they'll have an outside loo to do the business instead of looking for a tree. And I'm sure the girls would appreciate it. Now, that building there has also a sign on it indicating where the toilets are. So there must be something else here that was once a building, or maybe someone's made available a toilet at the back of their property. I'm not sure. So that's pretty good. So this is just the other side of the church. There is a window here, which is a great level, so I can stick my camera close to see what we can see. And I think we're going to struggle. But if we can see something, I'll just use my hand as a bit of a shield, give you an idea what it looks like from the inside. But it looks good. Great little place for a wedding. Maybe the building next door could be used as a reception for the wedding. But that's something I don't know. Just once again speaking aloud. So we'll just go to this window here. Just wondering maybe if they use these sort of churches for when the elections are on and stuff like that. Not sure if that's coming through. Give you an idea. That's the back of the church. Now I just want to highlight the fact that a lot of these towns I come into are sort of struggling with their population. And I'm looking at these houses, what we're both looking at now. So there's a lot of people coming into this area and building brand new homes. So this town actually has, I would say, a growing population, which is just terrific. So if you are thinking of making the country relocate, I think the only down thing about this place is there's no railway station, but I'm assuming there must be a bus service that takes you to a railway station if you need to go into the city and commute. I can tell you that the internet connection is very good because the drone went up with no issues, and I think it picked up about 13 or 14 satellites from where I took off from the railway station, so that's not too bad. So here we are at the town hall, or once was, and it was built in 1859. What I've noticed is, if you look at the photo, you can see how the columns were on their own, freestanding, and then once I turn the camera, no longer the case. They've closed it in, maybe to generate a little bit more floor plan for themselves. Now there's a lot of buildings here that absolutely are heritage listed, without a shadow of doubt. A lot of homes I've walked past are also, that have to be some sort of heritage overlay. Here's the sign, pretty simple enough. There's also the Mechanics Institute and library, so that's pretty good. Once again, bluestone construction, if you can see on the side of the building. But what a beauty, it's been preserved, and they have the second and last Sunday of the month a market garden, or surplus and excess confectionery, groceries and variety of stock. So basically, if you've got anything for sale, bring it here, get yourself a stall and sell it. Now there is some more buildings further down, and we'll have a look at those. I thought I'd just show you the side of the building to highlight the bluestones as part of the construction of the building, and it's rendered for the bottom half. And there's definitely a few add-ons that have been put on both sides of the building. Yeah, here we go. This doesn't look like the add-on, but who's to say it isn't? But no, you can tell by the chimneys that it might have been built at the same time as the hall. And if we come around the back quickly, there's modern toilets and everything for those that come and visit the market or have a stall at the market, which is pretty good. So they are using it on a monthly basis, which is great. Now I just wanted to show you this home that's opposite Town Hall. I would say this is probably built in the same era, and I do like, I'm not sure what that is, I'm sure someone could tell me. Way in the distance you have that building. Now it's not a garage when it was initially built, maybe for carriages, for horses, not sure, but the people who own the property have put like a carport, if I can make it quick enough, to one side. Yeah, actually that would be great for an Airbnb of sorts if they were looking to generate a bit of extra income. So you'd have your private entry spot, come in and use whatever that building used to be. Was it just keep grains? I don't know. But the house itself is weatherboard, slate roof with some bluestone, what it appears to be. But what a nice presented home. So this is definitely the town that keeps on giving when it comes to a lot of history. So this is the former post office, and as you can see it's got the clock there as well, which is just fantastic. And it is in really good condition. It most likely is now privately owned, and I think down the end there you've got 1, 2, 3, or at least 2. I'm going to guess and say like little Airbnb opportunities for people to stay at. It's one of those things you're going to have to go and check out yourself, go onto Airbnb or Stays or whatever, to find out if that's the case. I do like the brass finish where you drop off your letters and newspapers. Not sure why you drop off the newspapers, unless it's for recycling, but I'm not 100% sure how all that worked back in the day. But what a terrific looking post office. Once again, someone's lucky enough to own this. and it's just fantastic. There's your the clock. What a beauty. And a little bit further down, there is like a general store that we'll go and have a look at next. And once again, as most good towns do, they have like a heritage trail for you to have a look around in. This is another classic example of a town which is quite big, and it is worthwhile if you've got an electric bicycle or just a regular bike to hook it on the back of your car, come out this way and cycle around from spot to spot. I'm actually jumping in the car and going from spot to spot because there's a lot to take in. Now over there, there's a suggestion that that's a some sort of petrol station with the signs there, or just a garage to repair cars. And once again, if you look down the main road, or one of the main roads here, a lot more modern homes. So this is a growing town, which is just terrific. So here we have another building to look at. This is a meals and beds. So I'm assuming this is some sort of hotel from back in the day, where they'd feed you and give you a bed to sleep on. Maybe for those touring gold prospectors. And on this side, from what the plaque had suggested earlier, that this was once the general store, and it looks like someone's made an effort to have it as a restaurant, but unfortunately it is no longer open, and it's got a sign saying it's permanently closed. But I do like all the signs that they've been able to collect, hopefully from the area, and put them on display for everyone to look at. So if you're into metal signs or those press signs, this place has got plenty to look at and admire. I do like the Peter's ice cream. That's probably the best. And I don't mind the Lions tea. Some great signs here. Whether or not they're reproductions or not, I have no idea. The Sun newspaper. Oh, there's the Lipton's tea. That's the one I still drink today, and I'm sure many do still as well. Very good. So yeah, as you can see, it's permanently closed. And this is sort of part of the general store. I guess this is where the people lived back in the day. Now, once again, the town does have free barbecue areas, picnic tables. There is a bike track that goes around that I've noticed, but not on the rail trail. It would have been good if somehow that was incorporated to get over that bridge, but I guess it's one of those things where you need an health and safety report so people don't ride off the bridge where the train station was. And then we come across this thing. Now, I'm not sure if someone made the attempt of getting this and converting it into a little Airbnb type setup or not, or that's the plan for it. But it does look like, I was going to say, is it for security carriage, or is it a postal carriage, or just one that carries freight? But that's, as much as it looks sort of pretty bad with the paintwork, I think that could be easily fixed. And that's directly opposite the once was the general store, now the closed restaurant, and just to the right there is the post office. So once again, a lot to look at in this town, and definitely worth the trip out if you're coming from Melbourne. So here we have another historical building. The sign at the top suggests that it was a butcher shop, and I do like how you've got a split between the road and this path here. So I'm assuming that you'd come through here, collect your meat from the butcher shop, and then the road is slightly to the left. So it sort of had its own driveway to come in and out of. The window frames are a bit far gone, but nothing that can't be repaired. I'm assuming there must be some sort of heritage overlay with this building as well. But yeah, I don't know if you can read that, but just up there, there is some sort of sign writing that suggests it was a butcher's at one stage. So there you go, and then directly opposite is a hotel. Now this does look privately owned now. It's no longer a hotel for the public. Whether or not it's an Airbnb, I have no idea. And what can I say? You can basically see the words between ground floor windows and the first floor windows where it does say hotel. Very good. Okay, now just down there, we'll go down that road, and that's where the hotel is, or the pub. And let's see what that's all about. So here we have the Britannia Hotel. It is open. Somehow I don't think that sign ever goes in. Established in 1857 and then re-established in 2012, so it must have been closed for a while. The CFA is just there. This seems to be the main, well, it's a bit odd. I'm not sure the setup of this town, because it seems to, this is not the main road that takes you in and out of the town. It's sort of like a street in from the main sort of highway. You've got a bakery just there, but what I do like, I'll zoom in on it, the old Studebaker. What a beauty. So, very good. Okay, so here we have another church, and there's another one nearby as well. So I'm counting at least 4 or 5 churches in this town, which is, it is something. I just spoke to someone who's walking her dog, and she said, yeah, this is, back in the day it was gold and farming, and farming's taken over, but back in the day it was gold, and it's probably why we have so many churches here. And this one is also an absolute beauty. What can we see about this church? These gates were erected, so the gates were erected in 1933, but I'd say the church is a lot older. Has to be. So this is St. Paul's Anglican Church, and the plaque's a bit faded, and I think it said that it was built in 1866. Which is sort of basically within a year or two of each other, of the other churches in the area. Wow. This one really does stand out. I think it's because there's no sort of neighbouring buildings to somehow dwarf its size. So this is the side profile of the church, and it doesn't have a bell in the top tower, but there is a bell here. Now, is that for school kids, or just to let the residents know it's Sunday and you've got to make your way to church back in the day? Shall we give it a ring? Let's give it a ring. I'll probably get told off, but let's see what happens. I'm keen to give it a go. Just hope it doesn't crash on my head. I do like the handle. It looks like something that you put your foot in when you're riding a horse. Here we go. Can't get it to go. There you go. I did get it to go. Only one gong that time, that's enough. But yeah, very good. And this church is opposite the CFA and just a little way from the Britannia Hotel. So from this church, we'll make our way to another church, which is just over there in the distance, not too far away. So we'll make our way there next. So first up we have a memorial to Tilly Aston. Now if you're not familiar with Tilly Aston, she was blind from childhood and a poet from my understanding, but as we come closer this will tell us a little bit more. So she was the first blind student to matriculate and be appointed a teacher. Fantastic. Wow. And she was one of the first to promote the Braille Library. Good for her. And this is her hometown, which is just great. That's a great memorial. Very good. And just here in the distance is the Uniting Church. We'll have a closer look at that one. So here's just a plaque, and it highlights the information about Tilly Aston. There's a photo of her teaching other blind kids, which is just fantastic. And she's, well, maybe they're not blind, she's just reading to them and using Braille, which is just great. And she was a blind poet, and she was from this area, which is just lovely that they've got this memorial for her. Just fantastic.
Written and sung by Jim Lowe.
Now we're just in a sort of like a rotunda entering the town where the church is and where the memorial is for Tilly Aston, and there's a map, which is fantastic. And as you can see, whoosh, if you enjoy a good walk, there's a lot of walking. If you've got a bike or an electric bike, absolutely bring it. But there's a lot to see here, and I guess you'd have to spend at least sort of half a day. Include your lunch at this location. As I mentioned earlier, there are some free barbecues, but it's always good to buy things from the local businesses. It's one of the best ways for them to survive and to keep and remain open. So here's some of the other photos. The brewery, the railway station, the railway hotel, a couple of churches. Actually, there's a lot of churches. And it's good that there is a memorial for Tilly Aston. Very good. Now, there was a voiceover coming through, but it's now stopped. Okay, so we'll go and have a look at this Uniting Church. So this is the Uniting Church, and it was built in 1913. Bit of a latecomer. Now, if you could hear in the background, there is a song being sung in that sort of, I'll show you, the rotunda, whatever. It's like an information centre, and there's a song being sung for Tilly Aston, which is just terrific. Just a side profile of the church, not the big church, but once again, it serves the purpose for those who follow that particular religion. Now, once again, a lot of new homes in the area being built. And this is the main road, and as we've discovered that the main shopping strip is really one road in from this one, which is quite interesting. Here we go, some guy on his motorbike touring around. Bit too cold for me today to do it on my bike, so I've jumped in the car instead. Very good. And off he goes. Great way to spend a day cruising around. So there is a supermarket, news agency. Looks like it's a bottle shop as well. And I can confirm that yes, there is a buses that come into the town and takes you to Maryborough. And I'm sure that there's a huge station that I did go and have a look at in Maryborough, and that will take you into I think Ballarat and maybe onto Bendigo. I'm not 100% sure. So there is public transport available in the town, which is just great.
Now, I just want to take the opportunity to once again apologise for not pronouncing Tilly Aston with her correct name. I don't know why I kept calling her Aston, but I do apologise for doing that.
So here we are at the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the town. Definitely worth coming out and making the effort. There is a lot to see, and I can recommend that if you do have a bicycle, to bring that along. Some of the distances, yeah, they're all walkable, but if you're getting on in years, a bicycle could come in handy. And if you just like riding a bike, it's also good. But if you need to get your 10,000 steps in, like I do every day, great town. You will need half a day. And once again, if you do like the video, by all means, click on the like button or that thumbs up icon. Please consider subscribing. Subscribing doesn't cost you 1 cent, and it really does help the channel immensely. But most importantly, stay safe and commute safe, and have a great day. And thanks for watching.